I was absolutely surprised and delighted to discover when I went to Uganda in October last year that the individual I had been speaking to and communicating with for a year was as wonderful in person as he was online. I met Fred Sebaggala through a mutual friend on Facebook. I had a project in Kimilili, Kenya that I've been working with for 7 years, and that ended up being something to do with reusable sani pads. So I asked him right away, do you have a reusable sani pad project? And he said no, but sent me a budget. I called a donor and we began working together. Since then, besides distributing reusable sani pads, he has been teaching girls how to make reusable sani pads with simple thread and needle and buttons. I'm Jean Walter, founder of International Leadership Outreach and author of HeartScape Journey. International Leadership Outreach was created to and designed to work with individuals in an international networking, exchanging ideas, understanding immersion in culture. The hallmark of our work is working with leaders who are already doing something in their own country and committed to the success of their community. A niche that we've discovered is that we want to work and strengthen those that are vulnerable to help them to obtain economic stability. And obviously, if girls have reusable sani pads, now they can stay in school. Hosting Fred and Angel Sebaggala to come to Washington State is exactly the kind of program that International Leadership Outreach does, in the sense that now they're here, they could meet other people and do exactly what I said earlier. In that process, we have expanded what international leadership is about. And today I'm absolutely thrilled and delighted to introduce to you Fred Sebaggala from Kampala, Uganda, to talk about his project, She Learns in Kampala. Fred, please come.
My name is Fred, and I'm glad to meet all of you. It's such an amazing moment to have us in the Tri-Cities. Thank you for being a united group, and thank you for working together. My journey started with my mom. Growing up as a single mother, like when we were raised in our family, she was living absolutely in complete poverty. We had no mattresses, we had no beds, we had no shoes going to school, but her desire was to put us in school so that at least we can live a better life. I didn't finish any grade in school. I didn't go to university. Actually, I learned English by watching American preachers. And on a TV that was not our own, I had to sneak into the neighbor's house to watch. That's how I was able to speak English, because my education wasn't going so far. But when I was growing, I realized that this woman had done her best to provide for us, to give everything for us, and she had limits. But one time I was walking on Entebbe Road, I asked myself if she had learned. And that's where I get the name She Learns. And my desire was to go out in Uganda, speak to every girl who is out there, especially those who are in school, so they can realize the value of education. Because there are very many who are in school, but they don't know that they have education as a priority that can help them. And then there were those who are in the villages and they didn't have the opportunity to be in school. But personally, I also had nothing to give them. But I had a voice. I decided I can speak to one. I can go to those schools when they open up and I tell them I can speak to those young people. Yes, by that time, I was 19 when I started moving out. I could walk distances, but that was not the issue, because my desire was so that not any other girl grows up to be like my mom. Not educated, you don't have a life. And when it comes to Uganda, not every girl has the same opportunity like boys. You can send a boy to school, but a girl is supposed to get married. Let her remain home, fetch water. Like here in America, water is just in the house. But in Uganda, you have to walk kilometers to find clean water, because even the same water that people use is the same water that cows get. So I decided that, okay, Fred, you came from a broken family, but let others come out so that they can have families that are together, families that are united. Actually, one of the stories that we have is a 15-year-old girl who came to the conference that we normally have, and she was listening and she came and shared her story. Only 15, she was supposed to be forced into marriage. When we heard about the story as she learns, what we did is we took her out, we put her in school, and she's now a practicing nursery teacher. That's the story of life that was changed. And now we realize that, okay, we can do this, but we can't go all the way. And then one time on Facebook, because me, I desired one thing about Facebook is to post what I do so that some person can get to know about it. That's when I met Jean, and then she get to know whatever that I was doing. What we are doing is our desire was to keep the girls in school. So we decided, because 11% of the girls drop out of school when they reach their menstruation period, because out of the poverty they can't afford. Actually, it's one of the regions in Uganda, it's called in Karamoja, where this young girl goes into her periods, she has to sit in the sand because she has nothing to use. And it's a mockery for a girl to be in her periods. That's why very many feel so sad and they drop out of school. So we decided to start giving out sanitary pads. But we realized that, okay, at a given time T, you are going to take long without coming back. So we decided that instead of giving them, let us teach them so that they can make their own. And then we said, okay, if we teach them, what are they going to use? We go down to the materials that are easily accessible, given that they have a cotton, they have a polythene in between. So we teach them and we show them so that, okay, this is what you can use so that you can stay in school, so that you're not violated. Because a woman with a voice, by definition, is a strong woman. When you give them a voice, you've given them life. When you help them, when you support them, because it's not that you can give them money, but you can give them something that can sustain their lives. That's why, as she learns, that's what we do. So we can teach them. And our desire that we tell them, we have taught you, but teach someone else. Because it is not that every person who looks at everyone can know their pain. Because there are very many things that are embedded on the inside without you knowing. So my story starts with my mom, and I realized, okay, let not another girl grow up just to be like my mom, because she was not educated and she was a teenage mother. And here we were in the same house, self-confused room. It was the bedroom, the bathroom, this one room. I remember I always hear about earthquakes and then you shake and then you fall down. I had no reason to fall down because I was already on the ground. So I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the pain that the girls have, we thank God that we are able to do something about it. And we thank Jean for being able to stand out so that she can come and say, okay, how can I help? How can we move together so that we can work together and do something about it? So ladies and gentlemen, I want to appreciate everyone for whatever work that you're doing out there. It takes love. It takes a hand of mercy so that you can extend to someone else, so that someone else's life becomes better. Once we give education to them, actually right now we have like 17 girls who are under our program so that they can have education. We normally have village outreaches so that we can reach out to the elderly people. It's one of also of the groups that is neglected back home. Why? Because if someone cannot earn $1 a day, what can they sell? Totally nothing. So when they grow up, they're left at the mercy of only God. So what we do, we go to the villages, we provide like soap, sugar, rice, and those things that are essential at home so that they can have something. One thing we've been here for 2 weeks, but I've got the privilege of being in some people's homes. When you open their refrigerators, they have things that they even forgot that they are there. When you go back home, people have barely nothing. And the image that I've got here, like when you are driving in Kampala, they're always bam, 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 but the roads here are very nice. One thing is, in Kampala, it's hard to find a car, but here, it's very hard to find a parking lot. So you guys, you are blessed. That's one thing that you need to appreciate God for. And then maybe lastly, someone said that, Fred, me, I have nothing to give. But I always say every one of us will have something to give. You can give a compliment. You can give a hug. You can give someone, okay, you're looking smart today. Just like it's the start of the day, you tell someone, I love the way you're dressed up, because people are going through a lot. When a girl is dressed up, you can never know what she's going through. But I've had stories of pain. I've had stories where this girl comes and confides in you. Now, the difference between me and now is this man, and he's telling me all I need, she's going to provide, but at this cost, and the cost is her body. So that's why we stand out. That's why we speak out. That's why we come out. So I want to appreciate everybody in the Tri-Cities. Thank you for working together. Thank you for standing out. When we come together, we are better together. And we are stronger together. Not any one of us, I'm not a good fighter, but no one can box you like I'll box you. When this fist comes together, it is way stronger. When we join together, we can lift and support one another. When Jean came, she supported us, and we're doing some work out there. When you support her, we are going to go to another step. So I want to appreciate you for giving us this time. I believe when you come to Uganda, you will see what we do. You know, sometimes you can talk about it, but when you come and see it, you come and know that, okay, these girls are going through a lot. Whatever that she said, whatever that he said is right. Because right now we have supported like 4 surgeries. There is a lady that we met, she had fibroids since 2006. Her stomach was so much extended that you could think she is pregnant. And she had no way out. And then when I met her, we talked about it, and she said, yeah, it will be good. Now when you see her, she's all back to health. She's living good. A young mother gave birth to a girl, a baby who had a growth here, and she had no opportunity. You know what the man said? That's not my kid. What we did is we came out and we supported, and now the baby is growing and she is fine. So I want to tell you, sometimes you may not know what you can do with that dollar, with that someone that you are helping, but you're doing a lot to change lives. Rotary Club, thank you for being out there. Thank you for standing out. Thank you and thank you, because when no one has a life jacket and you choose to dive into the water so that you can save them, that means you have given up your life to save another life. Thank you for giving up your life to save some other person's life. That's what we did. That's what I did. When I discovered you have nothing to give Fred, but I had a voice, I began speaking. And right now, very many are having hope. Actually, schools have started and they're asking me, when are you coming? But not because I'm going to give them money, but I give them hope. I tell them, you can make it. I tell them, hey girl, when your self-esteem is boosted, you can live a self-reliant life. So that your body is a temple of the Lord. You're not supposed to give out your body for exchange, for anything. Why? Because you've discovered your true value. Because growing up with my mom, I saw a lot. Because it was my mom and my sister. So the story of a woman, I saw it, I didn't learn it in school. I didn't learn about poverty when I read the first book. Poverty was our next of kin at home. I didn't have shoes until I was mature enough. And one time when my mom bought the shoe that I had to first have, it was not my size. So I had to continue walking barefooted until a certain age. I remember one of those days, I had no trouser to put on. And the only trouser I had holes behind. Personally, when I was growing up, I was not so humble. But that trouser humbled me. Because I never wanted anyone to see my holes. I know people right now, they cut their own trousers so that they can be fashionable. But it was my situation that made my trouser torn. I always relied on the neighbors giving me clothes. But I want to tell you, God trusts you with whatever that He trusts you. The pain that I went through became gain for many. Became a reason for how many girls to be in school. Became a reason as to why very many people have a voice now. So when we stand out, when we walk and work together, I believe victory is sure. So thank you and thank you. Thank you and thank you for being together. Thank you for working together, and thank you for supporting one another. For every life that has been changed. I heard about the surgeries that you people are doing. I heard about the things, the places that you've been without you being there. Thank you for being there. May God bless you, and may God bless the United States in the name of Jesus. Thank you so much.
Can you give us a little background on Uganda population, just some general stats?
Currently, the population is 54 million people. It's a growing population. The city where I am, which is Kampala, it has around 2 million people. And it was planned during the colonial days to carry just barely thousands. But right now, the population is increasing.
In Kenya, we have a group that we've supported that are doing that Day Africa project that supports, it's a kind of like a vocational training. Do you have any plans, any thoughts to do some of that?
Yeah, currently we are looking at doing what we call a Sheland Center, and we are raising money so that we can build a facility where girls can come, they can learn bakery, they can learn hairdressing, they can do a number of things so that they can have a skill. Because basically our education, they give you the theory, but they give you nothing practical.
Right.
So that's the desire that we have. We have that desire to start a Sheland Center, to build a plan, to buy a plan, and then to put up structures.
Yeah, that's where you have to go.
We spoke to one of the major donors for International Leadership Outreach. He gave $18,000 towards the Sheland Center.
And that was a pretty amazing story, Fred, what you had to go through. So thank you for your courage and your passion for all that you do with this. This is amazing, and I'm sure difficult, right? It was interesting because the theme for Rotary this year is Unite for Good. And you talk about we're better together, and it's so true. The better we all work and coordinate with one another, the more we can succeed in doing the things we're doing.